Thanks for stopping by Nonsense Password, this time for the third Nonsense Password trip, this one titled The Boy Who Broke Bertha. Typically on my wave plays that I make, and pretty much everything else, I make all the music, I do all the sounds, or I collect the sounds, and if I don't do it, it's typically just some public domain file from somewhere. But this episode of Nonsense Password is very special. Not only is it awkwardly autobiographical, but it also features the debut of my lovely wife, who wanted to be credited as Mrs. Special Character. I hope you enjoy this trip. If you do, please spread word, rate us in the iTunes store, share the podcast, talk to all your friends, bring it up, even if the time's awkward to bring it up. If you need to reach me, the website is nonsensepassword.com. I'm usually on Twitter at nonsensepasspod. And there's a bunch of other stuff too, which I'm, totally free to check out there. Anyway, thanks again for stopping by. Please comment on this particular episode if you like it, or if you don't like it, or whatever. I need feedback. I need to find out what's going on here. Anyway, I really hope you enjoy this trip. So here it is. The Boy Who Broke Bertha. I remember when I was a little boy. Having a dad as a school teacher had many advantages, not least of which was that Dad had the summer off, a whole 3 months. So he'd pack us up, all three of us, my weird and worried mom, my cool and pretty big sister, and me, and he'd take us places, in the Buick, or the Olds, or whatever it was, something maroon, and he'd take us around everywhere. We made a stop in Kentucky to see family on one long trip. The Kentucky family was a well-to-do part of the family. My uncle out there was known as a bit of a horse trader, and not in the nicest sense of the meaning. Probably because he was good at it. He was a businessman and a rancher with one heck of a ranch. I was only about 4 or so, and all I remember about when we first got there were the storms. The rain, the wind, the constant tornadoes. I was inside my uncle's house, trapped by the weather, for what seemed like a solid week. Hearing the rain pushed by the wind, thumping the windows in different rhythms, the lightning flashing all night, the thunder, things blowing around outside. Mostly during this time, all I remember is playing cards with my great aunt, who I loved dearly, even though she looked like a strawberry goblin. She told me stories. Stories about the old times. Stories my mom didn't want me to hear, but she couldn't do anything to stop it. At one point, my aunt was upset I didn't yet know I was supposed to fold a letter into 3, to fit it into an envelope without getting the paper all crinkly, and she let my mom have it for not yet teaching me. I also remember hanging out a lot with my older teen cousins, a boy, Travis, one of the rare redheads of the family, and a girl a bit older than my big sister. I just met them and had fun with them, and they would, as chips off the old block, take all the money I won in the Kentucky Derby later that week, because they reasoned it would be irresponsible to let a little kid have that much money. They only let me have about $7 out of a lot more than that, a whole lot more. I think Travis bought a car with it, but I didn't complain. Somebody said something to me about it being a lesson in sharing, but who learned? I didn't. I was rich! $7 seemed like a lot of money to me. I had no idea what I was going to do with it, and I didn't spend it for years after. But neither the storms nor the Derby are what happened in Kentucky that was important. What was important happened in between. You see, as soon as the storm cleared out, and it dried out enough, my uncle, who I never once saw without his white cowboy hat on, wanted to take us horseback riding around his ranch, to show it off, something he'd been itching to do. The whole rest of the family was antsy for it too, especially my sister. Now, I don't think I'd ever ridden a horse before then. Maybe a little mule at another uncle's house. I saw a few here and there, but I never even thought about riding a horse outside of seeing them in the movies. In those westerns my dad loved, those horses seemed tall. Too tall for a little boy like me to get on. How could I have gotten up there? I didn't know. My uncle introduced me to a 2-year-old stallion named Diamond, who he said he gave to me. Now, Diamond was an ornery sort, I could tell. Brown and white with a diamond on his forehead, which set him up for an easy name. I hung out with him while the rest got saddled up. I liked Diamond, with his prancy legs and his big old long head. Hell, I was a little kid, I loved him. But my dad wasn't so sure. He thought Diamond might be a little bit too wild still to put a little guy like me on. But my uncle told him not to worry. Diamond wasn't as ornery as he seemed, and I'd be fine on him, he said. I could tell my dad still wasn't sure, but he figured he'd have to do if we were going to do this. And we were going to do this. My uncle already gave him to me, and Diamond was the best fit of any of the horses left anyway. But what wasn't left were saddles. The saddle that was supposed to be mine broke. I can't remember why, but they couldn't fix it. And I still had reins, so they put me up on Diamond bareback. They had to lift me up and flop me on him. No way I could have gotten up there otherwise. I was really small. Dad told me not to fall off of him. I looked down and I said, "Down there? No way." I didn't aim to fall off. Dad asked me if I thought I could ride him, and I said I thought I could. So he told me to just hold on. So we took off. Dad had Diamond's reins at first, while I just held on, and we took it easy for a while. Real easy. Dad had a close eye on my mom and my sister, too. But they were fine in their luxurious saddles and tame, obedient horses. We went around to the property lines, acres and acres, across fields and pastures, wooded areas, to cricks and the like. When Dad figured I was fine on Diamond, he gave me the reins, and I rode on that young stallion, and it was cool. We were friends, me and Diamond. We were out there all day. A great, exciting, peaceful day. But, as the sun was setting, Diamond got spooked by something. I don't know why. I have no idea. Diamond just got spooked, and I don't know what did it. Maybe he just caught a wild hare. But he sure jumped a rise I had to jump to hold on through. And then he took off running as fast as he could, with little old me still on him. I held on. I put my belly on him. I felt his back flex as his legs went crazy. I remember hearing my dad call after me, and I looked back, and I saw him chasing me, riding as hard as his horse could carry him. But Diamond was a faster horse, with lots of stamina. Diamond took me into the woods, and I stayed on him close as I could without getting inside. I was worried a branch was going to smash my little head, or knock me off of him. I tried to talk some sense into him, but I knew he wasn't listening. He just kept going and going. This seemed to go on forever. And at some point, everything went black. I had nightmares for years. Constant nightmares. At first, they scared me. And I'd wake up screaming and crying. So much so that Dad would get up and check on me. They never stopped, just transformed. But I got used to them. Several were recurring. When I was little, this one was the most common. The first part of the dream was a stampede of all horses, coming right at me. And deep into the thundering hooves, rolling down the hill, Bonanza would play. And everything would slow down as the herd surrounded me, and things would get a little darker. And suddenly I'd be in a cave where I could see the wind, wavy white lines that would appear and disappear. But as I went deeper into the cave, the wind turned into screams. At first muffled, but then clear. Clearly it was a girl's scream. And as I turned, as if on a ride, and 5 or 6 wigs on pegs, wigs of unnatural colors, would blow as the screams pushed them. This may be the first time I ever had this nightmare, but it was just a nightmare. When I opened my eyes, it was sunrise the next morning. I was still on top of Diamond, who was sampling leaves off of a tree on a tree line. I had ridden Diamond bareback in my sleep all night. My dad found me there and woke me up. I remember him looking happy, but also mystified as he snuck up quiet and scooped me off of Diamond's back to put me on his horse with him, and we rode back together. As we approached the ranch house, I saw a couple of sheriffs there, an old one and a younger one. I could see their badges and their hats. I asked my dad, "Are they here to take my uncle away?" And he just laughed and said no. No, they seemed more interested in me anyway. I heard the old one ask my family, who had collected on the patio, "This the boy here?" When he did, the whole family looked my way and stared at me, blocking the sun with their hands, mouths agape across at least 3 generations. Dad announced gently, to keep from spooking Diamond again,
"Must have rode the damn horse all night. Rode him all night. Found him on a tree line."
The old sheriff said,
"Well, I'll just be go to hell. Went for a ride, eh, boy?"
I didn't say anything, because I thought I might get in trouble if I took the blame for scaring Diamond. The old sheriff came up real close to us, looked me over. He asked my dad,
"Well, all right then."
Dad answered,
"Even every single hair's still there. Every single one of them."
Well, I'll just be. It's real nice it ended up like this.
Then the old sheriff whipped around and called out to the young sheriff,
"Well, hell, easy day. Send it in. Our lost boy been found. He's riding all night is all."
The young sheriff took off to send it in, and the old sheriff said to me,
"Next time, don't stay out past your bedtime, eh, boy? Hey, I'll be."
The young sheriff nodded with his big old hat and took off to send it in. And the old sheriff waved his hat in the air and hollered,
"It's a miracle! Y'all have a nice day."
The old sheriff moseyed off, and he giggled, but he didn't break stride as the family thanked him for stopping by. Mom rushed over and demanded that my uncle take away Diamond, and I be let down immediately. Dad told her to calm down, but she wasn't having it. I was scared to get near her. She'd obviously lost her mind. My teary, blubbering uncle said,
"I'm just so damn sorry about this. I'm gonna shoot that damn horse."
Immediately I asked him, "Why are you gonna shoot my horse for?"
"Because it's dangerous. You could have got hurt real bad. It's a miracle you ain't hurt. I'm just so damn sorry."
That made absolutely no sense to little old me. "First you gave him to me, now you're gonna shoot him? That don't make no sense. I guess they were right about you." My dad had a good laugh at what I said to my uncle. And my uncle cried and begged forgiveness from my mom, while Dad told him,
"Don't shoot the horse. The boy's fine. He don't want you to anyhow. Everything's just fine. Don't let people ride him till he's broke better is all. Don't shoot him, though. Ain't no reason for that. Just leave that horse alone.
All right, then. I won't. I promise, boy. I promise. I ain't gonna shoot him. I'm so damn sorry.
Said my uncle as he took Diamond and the horse we rode in on back to the stable. It bothered me how my uncle seemed nervous and blubbery. Then my mom hugged me. She damn near suffocated me. After wrestling a bit, I got my face out enough to tell my dad, "Dad, I don't trust him. Diamond's my horse. We gotta get him out of here."
Sorry, boy. We just ain't got no way to fit him in the car. Big old horse like that.
We ain't gotta put him in the car. I'll just ride him back then.
That's too long a ride, son. Hundreds of miles. Diamond won't make it. And I really don't know what we'd do with him if he did. Maybe we'll figure it out someday and send for him. But your uncle ain't gonna shoot him. Diamond will be fine till we get him. Everything will work out just fine.
Okay, Dad. I guess we'll just wait and see. After that, we went to the patio, and the family treated me like I was famous. I don't remember my sister saying anything to me, but she just smiled real big at me, as did my cousins. My great aunt told some jokes, and they all laughed, and cried, and fed me lots and lots of dessert all day. Eventually, though, everybody got over it. Back home, I didn't grow up a cowboy, but I grew up a country boy. And we weren't farmers, but we sure knew a lot of farmers. And me and my dad helped on farms from time to time. We had a nice house that my dad built himself. That is, with his own 2 hands. We had a big yard of a few acres. Next to us, just north across a dirt road, was a farm field. Sometimes they grew corn, sometimes soybeans, and other stuff. And this was the 80s. You think people are crazy now? Sure they are. But people were way more crazy. We were a bunch of crazy swazies in the 80s. I rode in the back of many pickups when I was a lad. We didn't wear helmets or seat belts. And we got mad when people told us to. Anything for our own good was bad. And us, the people of the 80s, got all whipped up and scared of bugs. So scared, we'd bathe in everything. They'd bathe all of us in everything, anything, to keep these bugs off. And they'd spray everything, especially farm fields, with all sorts of stuff they don't spray on them anymore because of the lawsuits that made it through the corruption. Damn government. Anyway, my sister had diabetes ever since she was 2. Not sure what happened. Dad told me something got her, but I didn't know what. Later, when she was a teenager, something else got her. It was a really rare form of cancer. It was so rare, in fact, the doctor told us only one other person had ever had it. A young man in China, and he died. My sister was strong, and young, and pretty. When that tumor sprung up in her neck, you could see it. We loved my sister. She was everyone's favorite, including mine. And there was never any way that my dad was going to let his little girl die. And I was still a little kid, so they kept me away from the hospital while all this was going on. Which, back then, I was so young, I didn't know what was going on anyway. I just knew my sister was sick. And even Dad seemed worried, which meant it was serious. So I spent all that time with my sweet grandma speaking German. We fight things. We fight them hard. Till we win. Then we keep going. That's what Dad and us kids know how to do. And that's about it. But then it passed. My sister beat it. Sis couldn't move half her face for over a year. But eventually it all came back. And that big old scar, after all these years, is not even noticeable now. My sister made it, and my mom was worried and hysterical as usual. But my dad couldn't hide a little of his sadness too. There never is a good time for something like that to happen. But there couldn't have been a worse time. When diagnosis hit, the teachers were on strike, and the health insurance coverage lapsed.
I am Job, son. I am Job.
He told me, little me. I didn't know what he meant until later, much later, and all too well. My dad spent all he had out of his pocket to save his daughter. Retirement, everything. No hesitation. He did it eagerly to save my sister, but it put us on shaky ground. He saved his daughter, but all the fruit from his hard-working life was gone. We didn't take any long trips for years after that, just fishing. Lots of fishing around the area. We were broke and struggling a bit to get by, but, like I said, I was still pretty little, so I didn't know too much about it. A little bit later, while I was still a little boy, somebody, by some roundabout way, ended up giving me my first pair of cowboy boots. Not that I gave a heckin' darn, but my mom thought it was important for some reason. Probably a reason given to her like so many others, by the TV, or by nostalgia, or whatever. And she wanted me to try them on. She begged me.
You want to put on your boots?
So I did, but only for a minute. They were stuffy and tight. I didn't like them. I didn't want them. I also didn't need them.
Be a little cowboy?
I wasn't going to wear them fishing. I had some Converse shoes I'd worn a few times to stomp out burning fields with Dad, and if I wasn't wearing those, I was probably barefoot, which I was most of the time. Dad asked Mom where those boots came from.
Where'd those little boots come from?
And Mom told him from where, which I don't know where that was. And she told Dad they were for me, but I didn't like them. As if to try to get me in trouble with him
Your
for it.
son will not wear them.
For thumbing my nose at family tradition or something.
He says they look stupid.
But he didn't say anything to me about it. So those boots just sat there by the door for about a week. I didn't care about them. I didn't touch them. I didn't think about them. Dad thought about them, though. Thought about them a lot. One day, soon after, my dad had me dress up like a little cowboy. It wasn't normal for me to dress up like a little cowboy, and it wasn't normal for Dad to dress me up.
Hey boy, put this on.
But he made me put on my one pair of Wranglers, which I hated because they're too tight. They twisted my hips, and they looked really stupid. And he had me put on one of those button-down shirts with the pearly buttons. And I put on a little black cowboy hat that we always had around for some reason.
You look like a little cowboy now.
I put that outfit on, and I didn't like it. But Dad told me to just try it out.
Just try it out for today.
Then he packed me up, and he told my mom we were going fishing as we were on our way out the door.
Taking the boy fishing, Ma. See you later.
She was thrilled. I was dressed like a little cowboy.
Oh, look at my leg.
And the story seemed legit. We fished a lot. We were always fishing. I spent a lot of time in and on rivers as a kid, sometimes lakes. We were always fishing, usually with my uncle and maybe some cousins and some close friends. We did that until God said no. And at that time, it was clear to me God was saying no. So I stopped going. But that's another story.
Come on, boy, get her up.
So I got into our pretty blue Silverado, one of the ones that exploded if you hit it from the side. I was still small enough that getting in it wasn't the easiest thing for me to do, but I did. And I sat there as we passed through our little town nearby, and we just kept going and going. We went out on dirt roads, a way I didn't ever remember going before. And a long way. A really long way. I watched out the window until I fell asleep. When we got there, to where we were actually going, this whole time, I don't think I ever saw so many cars. And after we parked and walked a mile to get in, I asked, "Where are we, Dad?"
We're at the rodeo, boy.
What? The rodeo? I was wowed. I wasn't expecting to go to a rodeo. I don't remember seeing so many people in one place, except for maybe at a baseball game or at the Kentucky Derby. I asked where we're going to sit, and he told me just to follow him.
Just follow me, boy.
And I did. We went down to a gate on the end. The place was a spectacle I was awed by, until some ladies were awed by me. I didn't know any of them. I didn't recognize any of them. I kept following Dad until we ran into some men at the gate of the arena. Dad asked one,
"You got you some mutton this little cowboy can bust?"
That little cowboy there? Sure do. We can put him on last.
Want to ride a sheep, boy?
What's a sheep?
You know sheep. Doc's got sheep. Remember Doc's place? They're out there behind the barn.
I tried to picture them in my mind. And I did. Sad little things. I didn't know why anyone would want to ride one. But I figured, what the hey? Oh, those things? Yeah, I guess I'll ride one.
Okay then, little fella. Sounds good. Put you on the list. What's the name there?
Dad thought about it for a moment. And then he said,
Diamond.
Then he said to me,
You hear that, boy? Your name is Diamond. When they call your name, you go over there and get up on a sheep.
Okay, Pop. My name is Diamond. Got it. Then he said,
Don't tell your mother.
So I said, Nuh-uh, Pop. Ain't telling her nothing. And then I waited. All of a sudden, from the stands nearest the gate, a sloppy fat old man in overalls got up and yelled at my dad.
Hey, you ugly sumbitch. You got a lot of nerve coming here.
Excuse me, but it's a free country. I can do whatever I want, you horse's ass. Do we need to have ourselves a little chat about that, Jerry?
That your boy there?
That little cowboy? Sure is. Don't talk to him.
You gonna ride?
He sure is.
Mutton, huh?
Yup.
Bet you he falls off and breaks his damn head open.
Oh, yeah? Bet you he don't.
Oh, yeah? How much you poor ass want to bet? It'd be a shame if I took every last dime of yours, you ugly sumbitch.
Dad pulled out the wallet from his back pocket and pulled out his cash and counted it.
Bet you 150 he busts her. But I'd have to see that cash up front this time, Jerry. You crook.
I got 150 to put up. No problem. That's chicken feed.
Oh, yeah? Sure you do, Jerry. I hope you don't mind I see it first. Just the same.
You could tell that Jerry was offended. But he pulled out a big wad of bills from the front of his overalls and counted out $150, and then handed it to one of the cowboys near the gate, who had come up from the back to collect it.
Plenty more of that there. You ever seen so much money? Wait, who am I talking to? Probably not. Don't get too jealous now. I'll take yours too.
Then Dad handed his money to that very same cowboy, who moseyed on back to from where he came.
Don't you worry yourself about that. My boy'll bust that muddin', and there ain't no reason I'd ever be jealous of you anyhow.
Just then, an announcer came on and announced a rider. Ladies and gentlemen, the next rider out to bust Bessie is a little old cowboy from Ponca City. Put your hands together for Travis. The crowd kindly clapped a little bit, and a woolly sheep shot out of the gate with a kid a little older than me on top. But only for a moment. After a quick little while, the kid fell off and cried. The crowd seemed sympathetic, and cheered again when the rodeo clown picked him up, bawling, tears streaming down his face. Let's hear it for Travis, folks. Good ride, buddy. No shame in falling. Just dust yourself off and get ready for your next ride. Oh my goodness. Was that a sheep he just fell off of? What'd you get me into here, Pop?
You ain't gonna get hurt. He's crying 'cause he's scared is all. You ride that sheep like you rode Diamond? Ain't no sheep gonna dump you.
Next up, Bessie looks to run the table, as no one has ridden her tonight. But our next rider is determined to end that streak. Give it up for Bartlesville's little cowgirl, Susie. Aw, put your hands together for that cute little cowgirl, Susie, everybody. Don't cry, little cowgirl. You've ridden Bessie just as well as everybody else tonight.
Hey, how many left till it's my boy's turn?
Well, let me see here. Looks like just one more, then it's go time for Diamond to shine.
Well, folks, even after all the riders, old Bessie ain't broke a sweat yet. She ain't tired. She's ready to run again. But our next rider is out to bust her. Welcome our Sooner son, Cody! Then it happened again. Only this time the kid was on the ground for a while. The rodeo clown went over and talked to him, but he wouldn't move him. He ended up waving his hands for his parents to come in, and they gathered around him for a while. It took a while. Then a couple of fellas came out with a stretcher, and there was a warm applause from the crowd as the kid was taken off. You ready now, Diamond? Well, I guess so. Let's get you on over there then, kid.
Now you just ride that sheep, boy. Won't be no big whoop.
All right, Dad. Where do I go then? That away. I moseyed on over to where the hand had pointed. And there were a few teenage boys. Younger versions of the hands at the gate.
You the next rider?
Yep, sure am.
What's your name then?
Diamond.
Diamond? What the hell kind of name is that?
It's a horse's name.
Oh, yeah? You naked?
No, I'm dressed like a cowboy.
No, I mean, do you neigh? Do you neigh? Neigh.
Do I?
Whatever you say, kid.
Huh?
You ever done this before?
No.
You know what to do?
Uh-uh.
Well, you climb up here, and you get up on her.
He was talking about one of those metal gates he was leaning on. I climbed up to the top like it was a ladder. What's I do now?
Just get your leg on the other side, this one, and, get on. That's all there is to it.
Awkwardly, I stuck my leg out over the sheep. You mean like this? She was a little fidgety, but not too bad.
Yep.
And I just hung up there.
Yep, that's right there, Diamond. You got the idea, boy. Now just hop on her.
After a moment, I did. And she jumped around a little. But I held on.
I'm gonna shoot you straight, Diamond. You're a bit of a weird kid. But I hope you have a nice ride.
The boy waved up to the booth, and so the announcer came on.
Ladies and gentlemen, our last sheep rider of the night, riding the undefeated Bessie, unbusted, untested, a little cowboy named Don.
The crowd clapped for me as the gate opened, and Bessie took off. Her ramble was gentle as I rode her out, into the arena, out and under the lights. I could hear the crowd cheer, and I looked up, but I couldn't see anybody. I just heard a nice roar. And Bessie's speed picked up a little dust and wind. It was like riding on a dirty cloud in heaven, but it was nice. Eventually, Bessie stopped running and just stood in the ring with me on top of her. And after a moment of the crowd cheering, the announcer said,
All right, folks, the moment we've been waiting for all night. Looks like Bessie's been busted! Let's hear it for the little cowboy. What did it? Diamond! Give it up for Diamond, everybody!
All of a sudden, the rodeo clown popped out of nowhere and about scared the hell out of me. He said,
Hell of a ride, kid.
as he grabbed me and picked me straight up off of Bessie. And then he put me on the ground and he said,
Take a bow, Diamond.
and he held my hand, and we bowed. The crowd went wild. And then he said,
You best go on back to the gate now, boy.
back then I was in a skipping phase, so I skipped back to the gate. I remember hearing some laughing, and I didn't know what was funny. But looking back on it, it was probably because a little kid skipped all the way across the arena.
Silly little cowboy.
When I saw my dad, he was counting a stack of cash, and he looked up at me and he said,
No, he ain't. He just in a skipping phase is all. Hey, good job, buddy.
Thanks, Pop. Jerry was turning red from yelling at my dad from the stands nearby.
That old tired sheep. That wasn't no fair ride. You're just stealing my money.
A bet's a bet. But you always did have a problem with that, didn't you, Jerry? Are you trying to cheat me again?
I ain't aiming to cheat you. You're stealing my money.
I ain't no thief. Are you calling me one?
The way Dad said that struck a hair of fear in Jerry, who then said,
I ain't calling you nothing. I'm just saying we ought to settle this fair.
How'd you propose we do that then?
Another ride on another sheep is all. That is, if and your boy ain't too tired from skipping. Seeing that you have $300 whole dollars to your name now, I say that ought to be the wager.
Can you show me $300 first?
Jerry pulled out his wad of cash and counted out 3 bills, and then held it up for Dad to see.
You want to ride again, son?
Sure, Pop, it was fun. People are clapping. It's great.
What sheep you want to put him on, then?
Who's back here fresh? Sparky? Sparky back there?
Oh, yes, sir. Spark is back there.
I say it's Sparky then.
Which one's Sparky?
Come on back, I'll show you. One of the hands led Dad back to look at Sparky. And when he came back, he said,
Sure, I'll take $300 from you. But I don't want you throwing around accusations when you lose again, Jerry.
Oh, there won't be. There won't be no reason this time.
Jerry handed the cowboy a stack, and Dad handed him his cash.
Better get on back there and get on Sparky, Diamond.
I went on back to the gate and found the boy again. Hey, nice right on Bessie there, stud. Can't say she didn't have it coming. So they're throwing you on Sparky now, huh?
Yeah, that's what they said.
When they put Sparky in the gate, she seemed really spooked. Sparky's a little jumpy. She was what you might call fidgety. So we'll hold on to her so you can get on up there. And then you hop on her, but then you're on your own, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
So get on up there, Diamond.
Well, we have ourselves a treat tonight, folks. By popular demand, an encore ride from tonight's top rider. This time on Sparky. Here again is Diamond.
A couple of boys showed up to hold Sparky near the gate, and they motioned for me to hop on. And so I did. Sparky had a lot more energy than Bessie. She made it clear she didn't like me on her, bumping me against the rails, and then the gate opened, and she ran out rumbling. Sparky's ride was a lot rougher than Bessie's, but she was also cleaner. It was like a magic carpet ride. She twisted and turned and ran real fast, and the crowd clapped together, thousands, cheering me on. When I whirled Sparky out, and she gave up in the middle of the arena, and the old rodeo clown came and took me off her, they went even more wild.
2 for 2. That's pretty good. Take another bow, buddy.
Once again, folks, the mutton bustingest little buster you ever seen. Let's hear it for Diamond. Heck of a ride, son. Heck of a ride.
The crowd chanted, "Diamond, Diamond, Diamond." And they clapped along with my skip as I went back. Dad was holding a lot more money when I got there, and he looked up at me and he said,
Hell of a ride, son. Hell of a ride.
Thanks, Pop. Sparky's wild.
Jerry was beat red, yelling at Dad from the stands.
You put him on, Bertha, or you and your boy are just cowards, is all. You hear me? Cowards.
Just watch your damn mouth before you get yourself hurt, Jerry.
Dad yelled at Jerry. Then he turned and smiled at me and asked,
Want to ride again, boy?
Sure, Pop. I'll ride anything you want. This is fun.
Good, so go ahead and put him on, Bertha. Let's run it.
Gonna have to see those 600 buckaroos you're fixing to lose first, Jerry.
Ain't even gonna see Bertha first.
Oh, Bertha's a mean old bitch. You best leave that boy alone.
I ain't worried about Bertha, and I ain't worried about my boy. If this loudmouth punk can show me $600, we'll have ourselves another ride, no problem.
Jerry pulled out his cash and counted out $600. Seemed like he had less than that left. Dad handed his cash to the holder, that cowboy, and then he said to me,
Have fun, son. This ride should be even better than the last one.
Oh, my. Guess you better get on back there, boy. Okay, I'm on my way.
When I got on back there, the news just hit the boys.
Bertha? I don't want to mess with her. She's mean as hell. What the heck is going on here? Well, the boss said do it, so you better do it, boy. Hear me? Okay, then. That ain't my hide. I'm still a minor. Get her on in here. We're bringing in Bertha. Come on.
Bertha was a big one, and she came in pissed, bumping and bucking, making all sorts of racket in there. The boys seemed scared and hold her for me.
Now listen here, Diamond. We can't hold this one. But she's big enough she ain't going nowhere anyhow. You should be able to get up on her.
I went up to the gate, and I looked her in the eye. She hated me. She hated everyone, and she didn't give a damn who knew it.
Get on up there then. Get you ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, a special event is ripe. Our rider of the night, who busted Bessie and then Sparky, is back for another ride. Well, we have ourselves a showdown. Now this time we'll see just what that little cowboy Diamond is made of. Now on top of a sheep, what needs no introduction, the most feared mutton this side of the Mississippi. No one, man or child, has ever held on to ride her, Bertha, the meanest sheep that ever was.
I watched Bertha for a bit, trying to figure out how I'm going to jump on her. When I was ready, I nodded to the boy hand, who'd been staring at me in an awe of silence.
Good luck, Diamond. Nice knowing you, kid. You could have gone up to being somebody.
I hopped on Bertha, and the gate opened, and she jumped out in a spurt. And she rumbled and she turned, and when she turned, it was a hell of a pull. And when she stopped to buck, it was a hell of a push. She went wild. So wild. For so long, too. It was a lot of fun. The crowd was rumbling like I was surrounded by thunder. Dust kicked up and I started yelling. Yay! Eventually, even Bertha gave up and stopped, busted, calm. The rodeo clown came out from hiding real good and took me off her.
I heard you, boy. Supposed to say yeehaw. Yeehaw. Come on, say yeehaw. Feels good.
I didn't because I didn't want to.
You don't want to? Okay, then.
So the rodeo clown just raised my hands. The crowd cheered but booed when Bertha bumped me. She almost knocked me over. I didn't like that nun, so I skipped after her. I was gonna grab her by the head and toss her, but she was faster than me, and the rodeo clown, who caught me.
I ain't got no fear, boy. Not a lick.
The rodeo clown picked me up over his head, and the crowd went wild.
Hell of a run, stud. Ain't seen nothing like it. Hell of a run. You best get on back now.
They chanted Diamond and laughed as I skipped off to the gate. When I got back to Pop, he looked awfully damned happy. He had a lot of money in his hands, and a big old grin on his face. He didn't seem worried no more, and that felt good.
What you say, boy?
Sheep riding's fun.
Sure is fun, ain't boy? Riding them sheep and counting this green.
Yeah, sure is, Pop. Even with all the riding, Jerry still wasn't done yelling.
You think your boy's a rodeo rider? He ain't no rodeo rider. What, riding sheep?
He rode all your sheep fair and square. Hell, he even broke Bertha. Thanks for actually paying up this time, though, Jerry. I thought you weren't gonna whine. But I guess that's what whiners do. My boy's a rider. He rode. That's what riders do. He showed you that.
At another gate nearby, some hands loaded a big old white bull. I never seen one like it. He was huge and muscly and mad. I've been around a lot of bulls before, but this one had an edge. I couldn't help but gawk at him.
He ain't no rider until he rides something other than a sheep.
I rode a horse once.
You sure did, boy. You sure did ride a horse once.
Oh, yeah? How's about you ride a bull? Want to ride a bull, Diamond?
Okay.
Have you lost your mind? You can't put no little boy on no bull.
Shut up, woman. This here's my rodeo, and I say what is. If I say a boy can ride a bull, I say a boy can ride a bull. If I want to bet on it, I'll bet. You drive that Silverado here?
Yep, I sure did. It sure is pretty.
Then I got $10,000 against $1,200 to your name and your hand you took from sheep and your truck saying your fake little cowboy won't make it 8 seconds on embargo.
Sure, I'll ride him. I'll ride anything you got. Is that him over there?
Right there, boy. His name's Embargo.
I went up to Embargo's gate. He about knocked me over with his nose air, his violent nostril breath. But he didn't seem as tall as Diamond.
You ain't riding no bull, boy. Your ma'll kill me dead.
I'll do it. We ain't telling her nothing, Pop.
It was awful sad hearing about your daughter. $10,000. If your boy can last 8 seconds on that bull, it'll make it all better. Shouldn't be no big deal. If he is a real rodeo rider.
You stop popping off, you hear? Putting little boy on a bull is a bad idea. And you ain't got $10,000 anyhow.
Bet you I can whip it up real quick. I'll even let you see it first.
You ain't putting no little boy on no bull. I don't care whose boy it is. You're gonna get him killed, and that ain't right.
Oh, come on. Let me wear him out, Paul.
No, son. We made a good haul today. And that ride ain't worth the money.
I already got $7. I just want to ride him. He looks fun. Who cares about money?
I care about money. When you get old like me, you got to.
Please, Pop, please.
Don't beg, boy. It's sleazy.
Word had traveled around about what was going on about putting me on a bull. And all the women in the crowd started booing, demanding I not ride Embargo. Nothing too coherent came out, except for some waves of no. And you could tell that they were pissed, and why. But some of the men were yee-hawing their heads off. I remember the yee-haws making me smile. Made me feel I was in a jungle with cowboy birds. It was late, and that smile turned into a yawn. And Dad saw it.
Dang it!
Well, as much as I'd love to make you $10,000 lighter, Jerry, and as much as you probably need it, the ladies have spoken. Thanks for paying up this time, though. Time for me and this little cowboy to mosey on home.
Dad, I want to ride the bull.
You gonna be a whiner now? You sound like him.
Dad was right, so I stopped. And so he picked me up and carried me out to the truck, and he put me in it.
So what do you think, boy? Can I take my boots off now? Sure, buddy. It's a long ride back. Might as well get comfy.
Dad started up the truck, and we took off. I took off my pants, too. I hated them.
Would you have really ridden that bull, boy?
Oh, hell yes, Pop. I wish you would have let me.
I believe that if you'd have ridden that bull, you'd have been okay.
What do you mean?
I mean, you wouldn't have fallen off and gotten hurt.
Why'd I fall off?
Bucket. Those bulls buck hard, boy. He'd have tried to buck you off, and those bulls buck hard.
How'd he buck me off, though?
I don't know, son. I honestly don't know. You had fun, huh?
Yeah, rodeoing is weird. I mean, there's a clown there, and I'm dressed like a clown. And,
Because of the boots and the hat?
yeah. Why do they wear these stupid hats? Why don't they just wear baseball hats?
Keep the suns off the neck and out the eyes.
Oh, I guess I see that. Them lights were bright.
Yeah. Hey, remember what I learned in the Navy, boy?
No, what's that?
Loose lips sink Ships.
What's a ship?
It's a big boat, boy. Big old boat.
Oh. Huh?
What I mean is, don't tell your mother.
Oh, right, Pop. Telling Mom anything is bad for you.
That ain't it. Women just got more sense than us is all.
Is that why I didn't get to ride Embargo?
Yep. Suppose so. Now listen. We went fishing at the big old lake, and then a river, and we caught some stuff, but nothing was worth keeping. And you caught crawdads and stuff. You know how it goes.
Oh, yeah, right, Pop. I know the drill.
After we drove out from under the lights, it got really dark. And with the rhythm of the squeaks and the rumbles, I fell asleep. When I woke up the next morning in my bed, Dad didn't seem worried no more. And that's it. That's the third Nonsense Password trip, The Boy Who Broke Bertha. If you haven't checked out Haterade 21 or the Deets, please do. There isn't a weekly show for Nonsense Password anymore, but there's a lot more stuff like this coming, and a bunch of special releases. I have an interview coming up soon, and a few other things. Anyway, I hope you really enjoyed The Boy Who Broke Bertha. I really enjoyed making it. I know that my wave plays here don't really fit into a nice little, package or a hole, or doesn't really have a particular shelf that you'd put them on. So I really appreciate you for venturing out and giving this show a chance. Anyway, please subscribe. Please rate us wherever, in the iTunes store. Please let me know what you thought about this particular wave play. It's kind of dear to my heart, and thank you for letting me share it with you. Anyway, once again, the official website, nonsensepassword.com. And if you need to get closer to me there, I'm on Twitter at nonsensepasspod. Special character at nonsensepassword.com is the email. And there's a Redbubble store and a Teespring store and, other stuff like that. Anyway, thank you so much for checking this out once more. I probably said that, 20 times now, but I really do mean it. Anyway, until next time, for Nonsense Password, I'm Special Character.